I'm Jennifer Angel, and this is my horoscope overview for you, Pisces, for the week of April the 25th. Okay, let's have a look at what's going on. There's a lot of activity in your solar third house, so this is great for media, of communication, getting out there in front, and creativity as well. Now, there's three planets here, or two at the moment. Venus is going to move into this area later in the week. We do have the Sun there, and Mercury is there. Now, Mercury is going to go retrograde this week on the 28th. And always when a planet goes retrograde, it's that period just before and after. Now, technically with Mercury, it's a week before and after. In my mind, it's a 2-3 days either side that really can mess with you. Okay, so it can be sort of disruptive, throw your plans into chaos. So you want to be, and that sort of pretty well takes out all of this week. So as I've told some of the other signs, if you've got some things to lock down, you want to do that like at the start of the week and get them down. And this is your area of communication, and Mercury is the planet of communication. So make sure you dot your I's, cross the T's, you get everything finalized that you need to have sensitive discussions or awkward discussions, or the tough decisions that inevitably need to be made in life now and again. If you've got some of those, then get them out of the way at the start of the week. Now, of course, life doesn't wait for Mercury to come out of its transit, but if you can hold off until next week, because then the energy does even out, it does balance out again for a while. Okay, it's still Mercury retrograde, but it does tend to balance out. Now, with Venus moving into this area as well, the good connections can be made with people, not only on a business level but also on a love level. And if you're having some heart to heart with a sweetheart, then once again, just be careful around this 26, 27, 28, 29, 30th, a period. Sometimes, you can say one thing, it gets out of hand, it's taken the wrong way, you've got a misunderstanding, and all of a sudden it's like, wow, you're in this situation. Anything of where did that come from? It sort of blindsides you. So that's really a Mercury retrograde sort of energy. Of course, the other things that fall under Mercury are technology, any communication with technology. So when you're working with computers or phones, then make sure that you back everything up. With technology, I've found personally that if something is like an intermittent thing, it seems to be going on the blink. I don't know whether that's a term that you recognize in US, but on the blink, if it's like an intermittent thing that's happening, sometimes I find that if I leave it a couple of days, if I can just work with it, then it corrects itself, rather than going into panic mode and reacting to it. If something breaks down totally, well, of course you don't have a choice, but just something to keep in mind. Now, there is a favorable aspect between the Sun and Mercury as well, right at the end of the week, and and this is Neptune, of course, is in your, so Neptune and the Sun is, sorry, I'm not sure what I said before. We've got a lot of sirens happening here at the moment. I don't know if you heard them, so it sort of was a bit distracting. And little Yogi, my dog, has been very good. He didn't even bark. I thought maybe I would have had to bring him up again. But anyway, so let's start that again. So it's Neptune and the Sun. It's a sextile, so it's an opportunity. It's a favorable aspect. And Neptune, of course, is your ruling planet. It's in your sign, and the Sun is in that area that we were just talking about with the communication area. Now, I love this. I like it a lot because Neptune is inspirational. It's very imaginative, and when it's with the Sun, it gets an added power. But the Sun sits in an Earth sign, Taurus, which helps to ground it. So it helps you to actually bring it back down and sort of tin tack it down and make it more real. So yeah, be ready with your pen and paper to get inspired thoughts down, and that's going to be more next week, okay, because that's happening at the end of this weekend. Do still have 2 planets retrograde in your career zone, 1 in your area of friendship and social, and a Jupiter right opposite you in your area of relationships. So coming into May, we've got 5 planets retrograde. Great time for research, great time for soul searching, great time just to get things into order and in place and work through them. See, evaluate where you are, where you want to be, and the journey to get there, okay? All right, thank you so much for watching. I hope that you have a great week. We'll see you next week.